Welcome, hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to quickly build an effective appointment setting agent using Retail AI. This guide is brief, it's action focused, and it's designed to help you get started without getting overwhelmed. So the first thing I want to say is, look, lots of people in the community have gotten into this group and started overanalyzing all of the settings and getting absolutely overwhelmed, and what ends up happening is they delay starting due to the information overload. Don't let that be you. The key is to just start. Like an example, Seamus McDonald, my personal friend, joined this community 32 days ago, and within that time period has already gotten in front of a full car dealership with a working demo and an amazing website. Let that be you. Don't be the other guy sitting in the community for 6 months just trying to get a website up. All right? So that's what this guide is designed to do, to get you started as quick as possible. What we'll do is build a simple agent, share my best prompt template, explore useful settings, and highlight top voices for a natural experience. Look, I've designed hundreds of appointment setting agents, and in this video I want to give you everything I've learned condensed down into one example prompt that you can copy and paste and customize for your exact business. So let's set this up. First thing you're going to want to do is just go to Retail AI. We'll go ahead and press this button, create a new agent, single prompt agent, and then we'll hit start from blank. Now you can see we have a fresh loadout here of Retail AI. And what we'll do is use my provided appointment setting template, which is of course downloadable in this module. It includes the roles, rules, steps, and skills. We'll take that right here, and we're going to copy and paste that into this. Now, this is just a general prompt that isn't configured yet for any business. But let's say we want to build in a barbershop business. You can choose whichever one you want for this upcoming assignment. But let's say we choose, I don't know, barber shop. Okay? And I'll highlight a few things about this prompt before we customize it. First, this prompt, is using multi-shot prompting. And why that's important is, well, I'll explain it in a later video. But first, it basically makes the model a lot more accurate by providing an example of what the user is saying, the caller, and what the AI agent should say to that. And you can see that we are doing that here. I'll also highlight that in case there is any kind of moment in which the agent feels like it's not hearing the person correctly, which is very common, I'll say something like, could you repeat that, or could you move to a quieter location? So I'm really having a hard time hearing you with background noise. Could you say that again, please? These kinds of things are really important because as the caller on the other end doesn't know, the AI agent is very affected by background noise. So you have to communicate that effectively to the caller. There are a few other things here, namely actually spelling out the name so that it doesn't just ramble and go, your name is John Doe, John. If you've ever tried doing that with an agent, you'll see that that's a huge problem. You have to teach the agent that it needs to replace the person's name with hyphens in between it so that when it repeats it back, it's spaced out correctly. So you can see we also have in this prompt one last thing. We like to ask for the date and time combined. So instead of going, hey, what's the time or what's the day, we just go, you'd like an appointment on day and time, correct? So we're always confirming back with the caller what it is that they just said. Got it? You'd like service, correct? Yes. That time works. Let me confirm the appointment. Okay. And then we also put in this, this happens. Unfortunately, that time is already booked. Please, the closest available time is alternative time. Would that work for you? So you have to have all of that nuance into the prompt in order for it to function well. I won't go too far into the rules that I've put here. You can obviously change this to your liking, but I do like to try to make it sound as human as possible. So I'll say something like use conversational human-like phrasing throughout the call. You can even take that a step further and be more specific and say in every other sentence. So those kinds of things add that human feel. But for the most part, these rules remain consistent across my appointment setting agents. Okay. So from there, what I'll do is take this prompt and we'll put it into our voice prompt builder, which is, you can find that in the community. And here's what it'll look like. Paste this in here and I'll say, look, I want you to use everything here and tailor it to a specific barber shop business. Don't change the functions and the style of the agent, just change the content. And now what we'll do is copy and paste the knowledge base. This can be the information from the website of the business you're trying to build an agent for, or this can be just any sort of knowledge base information that the client has sent to you. So I'll take that here, and I have a file of it in which I've stored all of that knowledge base information. Barbershop knowledge base, and I'll copy this in. Here we go, and paste. And now as that's running, what I'll do is take this information to the knowledge base data of this barbershop, and I'll put it into the other GPT which is available in the community that I highly recommend you use, and I'll just paste it right in. No need to explain it to the GPT, it already knows the drill. So I'll paste that barbershop information in. And what that will do is it has this base template that I like to use for all of my knowledge bases. And this is really important because most knowledge bases, if they're not formatted just right, the agent will have a hard time digesting the material, especially if it's complicated, nuanced jargon. So this will format it all out, and then on top of that, it generates a list of 25 frequently asked questions that are really helpful for the agent to know. Okay, once these two things are done cooking up, I'll paste them into the agent here. And see, here we go. All right, I'll just run through it. Example conversation using multi-prompt, good, we want that. The flow, asking what service are you looking for, service is confirmed. The time and day is confirmed. The information, the basic contact information of the person is confirmed here. And then the last thing is a confirmation of the service and the time and day for the person. Perfect. Okay, that looks exactly right. And now we'll take this information and I'll copy and paste it. I don't like using this button here, copy, because it formats it weird in Retail AI. It uses these little asterisks, and I don't want that. So I'm going to just copy and paste this here. The whole thing. Put that and replace what we had before right here into Retail. Perfect. And then the next thing I'll do is take the knowledge base that we've built, things before, and copying all of this. And I'll do something a little bit interesting here. You might be thinking at this point, okay, Mark, you're going to probably put it into the knowledge base section here in Retail. And the answer to that would be yes, if I had a pretty large size knowledge base, such as maybe a website that I'm directly accessing, which is amazing. In fact, I'll show you right here what that looks like. But for this example, what I'll do instead is actually paste everything directly into the single prompt. And I'll explain why in a second. But first, look at this knowledge base. You could put in all that information here, upload a file, or add text manually and just paste what we have. But what I find to be more accurate is actually placing it directly into the single prompt if it is small enough. Some of you might disagree, but I've just found better performance and accuracy for me when it's actually being placed directly into the single prompt. So here you have the knowledge base name, and let's just say we're connecting directly to Barbershop website, which some of you may want to do. And you just simply do this, crawl add web page. Let's put in, I don't know, www.facebook.com. So it'll go through and select, and you can select the different sitemaps here. And so a cool little feature that you can add as well is it will auto sync it every 12. That's probably not a good idea. Select all. Okay. Yeah, that's not. I put in the wrong URL. It's just an example. But you'd put that information in right there, and then it would actually auto sync directly with the website. So it's very helpful. Okay, I digress. What I'll do is go back to the agent. And now that we have the prompt that we like, oh, it didn't save automatically. That's important to know. Okay, we'll just paste that back in here. Put that there. Oh, my Loom was covering the save button, obviously. And then I'll take this knowledge base, put it right here at the bottom of Retail. So that's just the way that I find is very helpful to do this. And we'll hit save. Perfect. So the next thing we'll do is just go through the settings briefly. And this is important because there are some advanced features such as configuring pronunciation for tricky names using IPA formatting and setting a fallback voice provider for reliability during outages that I really want to cover. And now that we've sort of gotten this out of the way, this is very important. So I'm not going to cover cal.com. That'll be in the next video. Knowledge base is taken care of. What you normally do from there is add that knowledge base that we added previously. You'd link it up right here. Speech settings. Now, for me, this is just baseline. I don't want to give you too much information, but I like to keep this around 60 or 58, around there. Sometimes even 40 is better. So background volume 48. And I like the coffee shop. It sounds very natural. That's just so that the agent has some sort of background noise while the person's talking, which is good. We'll enable back channeling for extra realism. We'll put in here certain words like yeah, and this is just what the agent would say while the person is talking, again, to make it sound more real. I like to use that. Speech normalization and disable transcript formatting are decent for their specific use cases, but they also add a tremendous amount of latency for me, so for this use case, I'll keep that off. Pronunciation. Now, this is something I want to cover because, as you can see in this agent actually has a special situation because the owner of the barbershop that we're building this for, in this case, actually has a very unique name from the Middle East, Yazair al-Kwanfi, but it's spelled in a way that sounds like Yazir. So if we talk to the agent right now, it will say Yazir. Maybe some of you have encountered this problem. If you haven't, you will, I promise, in the future for a client. So the best way I found to fix this is just take this information, hit this pronunciation button, and I'll say, here's the name, Yazir. And since I don't know how to write the IPA formatting raw, the best way I found is just to take that over to ChatGPT and say, hey, I want you to take this name, Yazir, and pronounce it as Yazair for the pronunciation in IPA formatting. Can you do that? And it will write it out for you. I've already gone ahead and done that for you so you can see, and I'll copy that right there and put this in. And now when it pronounces it, it will pronounce it correctly. So we'll hit save. And then we have our caller settings. Here, end call and silence, I like to keep that around 3. Depends on really what you want. Max call duration. So this is another thing that is really specific to your use case. If you're doing demos, I don't like to keep that over 15 minutes because I don't want people just burning up their minutes or talking to it too long. So that's something that you can do depending on what you need. Post-call analysis, we'll handle this later. This is for the data that we're trying to extract out of retail. And then we have security settings. It's important that you only enable this if you don't want retail to record anything. So it will literally not record any of the calls. So add fallback voice ID. Now this is important to know because in the future, if you've never tried this before, you will have outages with your voice agents. So please, please, please have a backup situation. So PlayHT or OpenAI are both good voices. I like PlayHT a lot better than OpenAI's voices. They have lower latency. So I would typically just choose, let's do a female, let's say Anna, and I'll hit Anna. So this in case there's an issue with 11 Labs, then it would default back to Anna here. Okay, and the last two things are webhook settings. Inbound webhook. This is just if you want to build something like with caller memory, for instance, if you want the agent to be able to reference the person by their name based on their phone number, you would put that link in here to make.com or the database you're using. And then the last thing here is the agent level webhook. This is where you're exporting all of the information over to the link in here from Retail AI. Okay, and what I'll do before we have this set up is we'll say AI begins with a defined begin message. For all my inbound calls, this is what I do. And I'll just say, hello, thank you for calling Sharper Edge Barber Shop. This is Joy. How can I help you? Okay. And then we'll just put that in there. And the last two things I'll do is change the voice. Now there are 3 voices that I highly recommend. I've spent lots of time trying different voices, and they are Julia, Grace, and Kate. Julia is a pretty robust voice. Kate is a little bit more low-key. And Grace has a bit of a weird sound, but some of my clients report saying that it sounds really realistic because it sounds kind of like muffled as if she's talking through an actual phone. And I'll just put that in here to Julia here. That's an 11 Labs voice, use voice. And we are using GPT-4o. If this is your first time ever using a GPT-4o language model, or you've never seen these language models before, basically you want to use 4o because it's a little bit smarter than the rest. While you can see 4o mini is a lot cheaper, it doesn't perform nearly as well with complex queries such as taking appointments. 4o mini has lower latency, but you're going to pay for that because it is stupider. So GPT-4o is the way to go for me. I wish they had llama. I do like the llama models a lot, if that's your thing. And the last thing we'll do is just test the model so you can see what this looks like. And we'll hit test.
Thank you for calling Sharper Edge Barbershop. This is Joy. How can I help you?
Hey Joy, I was just wondering, first, who's the owner of this place?
Oh, great question. The owner of Sharper Edge Barbershop is Yazier Al-Khanfis, a master barber with over 15 years of experience. He's all about blending modern techniques with classic barbering traditions.
Thank you.
Cool, right?
Yeah,
How can I
that's
assist you
awesome.
today?
I'm just
looking to book an appointment.
I would love to book an appointment. Thank you.
Awesome. I'd be happy to help you with that. What service are you looking to book today? A haircut, beard trim, shave, or maybe our haircut and beard combo?
Oh, I have a bad beard right now. Very bad. I need to shave it.
Sounds like your beard is in need of some serious TLC. No worries, we've got you covered. So a beard trim it is, right? Let me know what day and time works best for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking December 20th at 3 p.m.
All right, let me check that for you. Unfortunately, 3 p.m. on December 20th is already booked. The closest available time is 3:30 p.m. Would that work for you?
Yeah, 3:30 is fine.
Perfect. Now, can I get your full name for the booking?
My full name is Mark Tomlet.
Thank you, Mark. Just to confirm, is that spelled M-A-R-K-T-O-M-L-E-T-T?
No, actually, it's just one T.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying. So it's M-A-R-K-T-O-M-L-E-T, correct?
That's right.
Perfect, Mark. Just to confirm, I've booked you for a beard trim on December 20th at 3:30 p.m. Please arrive about 10 minutes early. Does that all sound good?
Fantastic.
Awesome. We'll see you on December 20th at 3:30 p.m., Mark. Thanks for calling Sharper Edge Barbershop. Your beard is in good hands. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye. Okay, so that's the demo. I would say that went flawlessly for our first try, and hopefully you'll get a chance to actually try this yourself, see what it's like building your first AI voice agent using some of these prompts here, and I've tried to make this as easy as possible for you using the voice prompt builder and the knowledge base and my own hard-learned techniques for doing this. Last thing I'll say is, while that wasn't connected to cal.com, you can see that it's still good enough to impress a client. I've done many demos with clients just using what you'd call vaporware like today, where it's not connected to the real world, but it's simulating the real world appointment booking, and they've been very impressed enough to actually buy the agent. So that's what I recommend doing. If you're just going to show a demo, just get it up as running as fast as possible. Use my technique here. Okay. In the next video, I'll show you how to connect agents to cal.com, and I'm very excited. So thank you so much for watching.